So I will point out some examples of figurative language in the machine stops. Now this one's a little far down. I didn't want to forget it. We have a metaphor when Kuno is telling Vashti about his feelings on the machine. He says we only exist as blood corpuscles. So that would mean basically that is a living cells that are providing nutrients or red blood cells transporting things to the machine. So he's making this comparison that people are basically serving the machine and have lost their humanity and are now a part of the machine, its body. So if I was going to go down to our figurative language section, it's going to be, here we are, figurative language, and I'm going to put this metaphor. I will say Forster uses a metaphor to describe how the humans are serving the machine. And we have this, and I want to put the page 19. There we go. And then if I was going to explain it, oh wait, 15, my mistake. I'm going to say this by calling human beings blood corpuscles, Kuno is implying that humans have become one with the machine and are only living to supply the machine with life, you could say. It's sucking the life out of the people. Other examples of figurative language we would have had was the simile at the beginning. It's comparing Vashti to fungus, which is another important, and I'll go to that one. That's another important piece of figurative language here, because fungus is not a parasite. Fungus survives off its host. So by saying that Vashti is white as fungus, with a face as white as fungus, I mean, it's showing that she obviously never goes outside, and it's showing that she's surviving off the machine. Vashti is dependent on the machine for life. If the machine stops, Vashti dies. Everyone dies. On the other hand, if all the people aren't there to fuel the machine, like Kuno says with the metaphor that they're the blood of its body, then the machine would die. So humanity built the machine, and therefore the machine relies on humanity. But then at some point, the symbiotic relationship got messed up, where people stopped learning about the machine. They were worshiping it as a being, but they weren't learning how it actually worked. And therefore, their symbiotic relationship between machine and human was no more. Like a cell of a bee, another one. This is a good one too with these, the motif of the ideas, no new ideas. If we think of the machine like a hive, and the bees like the people, and then the queen bee, the machine, obviously, we could say that people no longer have ideas of their own living in this hive. It's this hive mentality where everyone's encompassed with the same feelings and ideas. They are all worshiping the machine. The machine can do no wrong. Everything will work itself out. There's no reason to leave your room. Everything's fine. Of course, the machine's going to have some kinks, but we should just deal with it because that's the price we pay for this convenience of never having to leave our rooms and having everything brought to us. And not even having to move your body. Like when she gets on the airship and the other passenger drops his book. And then everyone's just standing there because normally the machine, if you drop something in your room, the machine will lift it for you. So people have lost their physical abilities, basically. They're evolving in a way that would not survive on the Earth's surface. Like, you can't not have hair or teeth, but they're adapting to live in the machine. It's almost like they're opposite. Normally, adaptations are good, but in the case of Vashti and the setting of this story, it's not exactly good. I guess it's good as long as the machine never breaks and if you don't mind how your life is set up. But at this point, after generations of this, everyone's just going to become so complacent that they'll never start to question it. And remember, information is passed on by the expert. So whoever's the expert in that subject is going to be teaching it. Like, if you would have never looked for other information about the story, I would be the go-to. And then it could get to the point where I would just retell this story as if I am E.M. Forrester. Like, it starts to lose meaning, almost like a game of telephone, we could say. And if you can find any other examples of literary element or figurative language, put it in, send it to me and put it in the Literary Element Interactive and share it with me, and I can let you know. And maybe you can point some out that I didn't see. And the other one could be the whole story is a metaphor for technology interfering with people's lives, and whether because people have asked or the majority of people asked and maybe the minority didn't, but it would be the metaphor of how technology influences lives even when people choose to opt out. It gets to the point where you can't, in the case of Kuno.